Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. This is your tarot and astrology reading. I'm your intuitive, Susan. This is June 2025. Love and money. We're going to start with love and then move on to money. And let's get started. You showed up at the bottom of the deck already. Also, you are Aquarius Risings. You've had Jupiter running through that fifth house for a year, and I bet you're ready for somewhat of a change, somewhat of a break. So Jupiter's about to enter your sixth house while the sun pops out, and we have the first time we see the Wheel of Fortune all season, and you're the last reading. The Sun card. Funnily enough, Mars is in Leo. So we're going to start there. We're going to start in your relationship because that is your relationship section for Aquarius Risings. Even if you're Aquarius Sun or Moon, there's been this exposure, enhancement, revelings of your relationship to yourself and to other. And the sun, being the baby, being the enjoyment, being out here open-hearted, does relate to that fifth house for Aquarius Risings. So it's pleasure. It's creative experience, it's children. So for some of you, being around children or being around people who bring that childlike nature out of you are extremely key and important to your life, and they're not separate from value. And I know that you know that innately, but saying it out loud, like I think chatting about it is really important. So bringing pleasure and open-heartedness into your love life, whether you're single or partnered, is actually going to expand your life, give you a lot more possibilities and connections to things that perhaps you're moving towards, you're wanting to go towards. You just don't know where your really close relationships can take you and connect you with and expose you to. And while Mars is in the last degrees of Leo, while Jupiter is in the last degrees of Gemini, literally in a few days that's moving. We still have a couple weeks with Mars and Leo. This change and what it's going to help bring, that's so funny because Mars is moving into Virgo. Mars heavy energy, especially if there's a Leo or a Virgo, they could help you really bring this out of you, understand why it's so important and why it influences the rest of your life relationally, not only with yourself, but with others. And it's also helpful for knowing this kind of support you need. And sometimes the support you need is the support for when things go right, is to celebrate. Even the small wins right now are so important. Jupiter moving into Cancer. Every move is important. Every time you listen to your intuition, every time you listen to your body, every time you listen into the vulnerable parts of you, is so important and key and can really help illuminate where it is in these one-on-one relationships. If you're wanting to go into business, and we'll get to money next, but that's still a relationship. That's still in your seventh house for some of you. And it's enhancing your ability to see what you couldn't before. Maybe what you couldn't understand about your relationship and your relationship to the child and you, the child and others, and this enjoyment and this ability to be free. And Mars and Leo has really maybe didn't ask, I almost was like, maybe it didn't ask to shine a light on all of this. To help burn away, even because, every element can help take things away, and fire is helping with the spirit. What's been heavy on your spirit that you need to talk about in relationship, but allowing yourself to and giving yourself that moment of deep understanding and partnership. And that's what you're here to be together. You're here to understand and continue to transform through this process, especially again, Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising. Pluto's transitioning. I'm going to remind you almost every month because Pluto's transitioning through the very close exposed parts of us, the ego too as well. And your partnerships, friends, romantic, they're all so important. They're all so important. Why? Because they can be mirrors to you, Libra. They can be mirrors to you. They can bring balance to you. They can help you see what you can't see in times when you realize if this is going to be a 20-year haul, and if your life has already had and taken on, depending on your chart, certain responsibilities and things that you no longer want to be responsible for. Jupiter moving into Cancer for Aquarius rising in your 6th house of work and health. If it's affecting your health, cut it off. Cut it off. There's no reason anyone should be coming home in your head at night if it's not to teach you a lesson. I mean, I know that can sound one way or another. However, I'm just saying that the extra energy that you're giving that is not helping you. And the balance is to give yourself that peace. And that peace comes through the understanding of yourself, through the understanding of your closeness with others. Whether it be in a romantic relationship, if you're single or with someone, whether it be in your closest dynamics, if you take clients or you meet people one-on-one and you work with people one-on-one, if you have a business partnership, if you have any legal matters, you're also going to, even if it's from the past and it's being resurfaced through what you're experiencing, being exposed to and needing to communicate through your system, it maybe have been held deeply in a fear. And now you have the chance to integrate and digest in a way that it's not necessary. In these Virgo and Libra cards and the Justice and the Hermit, they love to intellectualize, and I know you do too, but you don't need to. I know that can sound one way or another, but what you really need to do is to feel it. Divine intervention. You have 4 major arcanas out. You're being guided right now, and if you can allow yourself to surrender to what's being asked of you, no matter how you feel in your body, some of that heaviness will dissipate. That acceptance of where you are and where you're being called to communicate not only with your words, but with your actions, and understand where they align and where they may need help, support. For some of you, it's having this experience because Mars in Virgo is going to maybe make you, sorry about that, want to go back inside, internal, into hermit mode, because that's right before the sun moves into Cancer. So then everything Cancer in Aquarius rising, your 8th house of death, how you make money, of like deeper healing, deep intimacy, and your mental health. If what you're being exposed to is that you actually need alone time for your mental health, but there is parts of you that may feel like, if codependency is the extreme, you might feel obligated. You might feel like there's some type of control in you to be this way. But right now, your medicine is to experience the sun and the illumination and the enjoyment for a deeper sense of processing, for a deeper sense of healing. Because you may need to declare something, you may need to revisit some legal matter, something may come up for you to have to be very clear and concise, and the best way that you can do that is to give balance to your life. It may not look the same every day or every week, and you might not be in that same period, but finding ways to find balance in your life, like if you find yourself to be too sluggish or too internal, who do you feel safe to connect with right now, to go out or to enjoy in connection? Because for some of you, this is also about having a deeper connection with yourself, and how Pluto's bringing you through an even deeper connection to yourself and to others in a way that you may not have gotten to experience. This brings you to a different kind of clarity to the relationship with yourself, your thoughts, and how you see the world. So A lot is processing, a lot is being revealed, especially perhaps why you're afraid to let go of this control. What is behind or beyond the fear of letting go to enjoy? What if that was your ultimate medicine, is to enjoy this experience? And what if your judgment, again, that Mars and Leo, and then the Judgment card, all these cards, what if your judgment, your criticism is actually keeping you from experiencing that expansion? And now that you realize it, it gets much easier to address, and it's okay to have judgment. We need judgment. We do. But where is it actually stopping you from living in a way that you need to, and you need to address, and maybe you need to share with someone close to you? Let people get to know, more people get to know that part of you. Because what it looks like here is that there's fulfillment on the other side of this fear, and through this transformation, and maybe a continuous experience of what fulfillment is on this ride with Pluto. But also recognizing that I think once this is shed, you realize the abundance that you have and that you've had, and the resources and the connections and the relationship, not only to yourself but to other, but to being able to explore, expand, and add to this fulfillment in a way that's not blocking you, holding you back, or making you feel like you're not doing enough, or whatever it is, whatever has caused you to remain closed-hearted. You will maybe even see a lot, even just a lot. For some of you, it's just the energy of the people that show up for you. The energy of those people is a lot, and it's you're receiving while at the same time giving into your fulfillment and your desire. So hey, it's a win-win-win-win. We're gonna get into money. I'm sure it will connect. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. Payment options, scheduling link, website, Patreon, where we get more in depth into the next part of this reading, where we take a look even more at the metaphysics/somatics, which are the body parts related to each arcana, each sign. Love and money, Aquarius. I think you're really preparing for the energy of the next 2 months right now, honestly. And this is like, you're like, why does this feel like a crash course for some of you? But there's a lot of benefit to the air that comes your way. Also, no, we'll save that. We'll save that. That's a lot of cards. We're gonna let that, I didn't look at them. We're gonna let the Ace of Pentacles fall out, but I'm gonna shuffle and keep on shuffling. Ace of Pentacles. What you're being exposed to is this energy of expansion that brings longevity, that brings passion, that brings fire, that brings excitement, that brings adventure. All things that, like, yeah, in theory it's nice, yeah, you like to have in your own fixed ways, but this is opening you up into an experience where I feel like you're not as attached. You're not as attached to what was as much, even though you have your feelings and you have your opinions, you have your words that you need to share, but there's an opportunity, the more that you surrender to what's going on and allow Jupiter to keep taking away whatever it is that's not expanding upon, positive or negatives, whatever you're releasing at this time, while all these planets are coming to the late degrees and changing. You may have a passion for something that you valued for a long time, something that you have spoke on, something that people have listened to you about. One of your signs this month for money or growing your wealth may be in direct conversations that you have, Gemini season, where you realize how much people listen to you, or you get feedback, or you get, a review you never asked for something that is not necessarily what you're acting upon and doing, but you're getting recognized for what you've brought to their life, the value you've brought to your workspace, your career, to anyone that you are currently exchanging energies and investing in. And there's a lot of communication, a lot of compliments perhaps. Also, you may feel a lot of excitement towards an opportunity coming your way, and there is more speaking involved, there is more teaching. For some of you, it could even be teaching involved, could be. Your actions, your words, your alignment is really important right now, more than ever. And we have the Page of Pentacles at the bottom. The fact that one card came out at a time also, I'm just saying. You're addressing, with this Ace of Pentacles, moving through to the Three of Pentacles, moving through to the Page of Pentacles. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom. Anywhere that's been slower moving had a purpose. And now you get the purpose. And now you're on the ride even more. You are speaking to parts of you that needed to hear it. You're speaking from a part of you, from experience for some of you, in a way that feels there's such a greater connection to that, as opposed to what you may have been working on, studying, building in your life, right? There becomes this obvious understanding of your value to yourself and where you've been coming from. And there may have been coming from a certain insecurity that you've perhaps been committed to for quite some time. And now Venus, today and tomorrow, depending on where you live, is moving into, and we'll get more into that into the second part. Actually, we'll take it out now for you. Yeah, we'll just take it out. Is exposing you to these values, or lack thereof, in your foundations. And you're coming to peace with any situations that didn't maybe go the way you wanted to, or even where ones that you've quote unquote won, or got the last word, or did what you needed to hear. There's a deeper commitment to the abundance. And if you want abundance and that's what you want to attract, you have to be willing to let go of Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, although slow moving, really important, have something to say. There is perhaps a lack of integrity, and you may be at this time connecting with that integrity that goes beyond the time constraint and more into the passion and the desire, and how great of a connection and how much the energy expands when you tap into those desires and do the things that perhaps you've been avoiding doing, and to some certain extent because maybe your worth or where you're at, but there's just this opening that is happening for you, and you're able to commit to a different kind of foundation in your life, a different way of building from this type of emotional security, because you realize, if there are things that I want, I have to be able to trust people even more. I have to be able to trust my opinion. I have to be able to trust what I'm saying, regardless of what's being responded to me. It's important to listen. There's something about, during this transit with Venus and Taurus, is that you may come into how much you've committed to people who did not value you at all. And now you realize how much you valued yourself, and that could cause turmoil, but right now it's causing a lot of peace in your mind. You're gaining so much peace of mind about how committed you are to your own sense of worth, abundance, this Empress mindset of knowing that you can have what you want, but there's going to be an ask of trust. There's going to be ask of standard for that higher value. This is another fixed sign that it's okay, to desire accept it, go about it, and feel your own growth within yourself. If there is a Taurus in your life, you may not have taken an opportunity from this person or from someone who seems to appear that they have at all, because you didn't. There's something about an ego there. There's something about having another situation appear to you. Perhaps this is a second time around, and you may feel weary to commit. Don't rush the commitment or the contract. Don't rush that, especially if you're wanting a home. Don't rush the home, because the right home will come your way through this piece. Don't rush moving. Don't rush, breaking things down and changing everything about the way that you think and move. It's just letting this progression happen, which is important. That'll actually, meeting yourself where you are will actually allow things to move a little bit quicker than you might have expected to in the past. So, and also for you very highly intuitive Aquariuses and those moving into your intuition, there are lots of pentacles out here. Don't be afraid to act upon things that you are passionate about, regardless if they make you money now, because you never know. Don't be a fuckboy to your own intuition. Don't doubt your own intuition. Like, if something comes up, don't wait for validation. There are some ways in which you don't. Now apply that to other areas of your life, because that will also give you the peace of mind and make you realize who you are. Lots of Venus qualities out here. Using your voice is really important right now, and using it wisely and saying what you mean, and not just going along with things that has gotten you perhaps in the past stuck. Now it's having the hard conversations, being willing to say the things that right now are called the hard conversations, but getting used to not attaching yourself to the emotion of these conversations, because that's what's going to give you peace of mind and know where you stand moving forward in this career, in this path, in this job, in this passion project, whatever it is. There's something about that being released and allowing you to greatly expand and act upon and voice where you're at, where you're going, what you're doing, what's changed. And leaning into that freedom. That kind of freedom that builds quality. Yeah. You've learned, and you're going to keep seeing yourself and being revealed to yourself over and over again. And we'll get more in the second part. I'm excited to look at the bottom of the deck. We're going to start with money, then move to love, Aquarius. Everything is in the description below. Links are in bio if you're seeing a reel. We'll see you next time.